Hi everyone, Chillax here and welcome back to another Anchor Panic video. So this is going to be a continuation of the Beginner's Guide series, this time focusing on the team building aspects of PvP. And I'm basically, the way I will do this is I will start from the very beginning. You're a fresh account, and these are the steps that I would take along the way to construct my very first team and how I would evolve the team to eventually bring me to the pinnacle, to the top 20, top 10 ranks of PvP. So without further ado, let's begin. We'll go into the team building layout here. So as you can see, when you go into team formation, there will be 5 slots that you can choose from, and there will be 6 different team formations that you can choose from. Now, the formation is going to depend heavily on the kinds of heroes that you bring to the table, how many defender heroes that you bring, for instance, just like heroes that are capable of taking multiple hits to protect the squishier DPSs in the back. The 2 formations that I recommend are either this formation here or this formation here. Both of these 2 formations are capable of protecting key positions, notably this position and this position, or in the case of this formation, you can protect this formation. So, there's pros and cons to each of these formations, but these are the typical 2 formations that I use in PvP, depending on the heroes that I bring, as well as the kind of formation the opponents bring to the table. In my current meta in PvP, this is the formation that seems to be working better for me, but in the past I have used this formation as well. Now, when you start the game, you're going to get a couple free heroes. One free hero is going to be Strain, who, as you complete certain quest lines, we'll just say, you do get a copy of Strain, as well as several dupes of Strain. And I believe you get enough dupes to bring her to minimum Ascension 3, which unlocks her first Ascension ability, in which you're able to stack attack buffs with Adrenaline, which is the buff that you apply to any allies that you heal with your energy burst. So Strain, actually, she's not only a free healer in the game, but she's also one of the top healers in the game in general. So she definitely will be a healer you will have on your team. And when you start your account, you're going to pick one of 3 different SSR operators. Either it's going to be Alice, or it could be Dawn. Dawn is this hero right here. Or it could be Merlot, which is the fire operator here. Now, unfortunately, all 3 of these operators that you get for free end up being replaced. With the exception of Alice, actually. We were discussing on the Anchor Panic Discord yesterday that on the CN server side, operators get access to a skill too. Basically, you know how our operators currently have only 1 skill? Well, in the CN server, you actually have 2 skills. There's a second skill that we don't currently have in the game that makes Alice a better DPS. So I would recommend that if you're a fresh account, if you haven't picked a hero from the banner already, pick Alice. So you have your healer, you have your DPS, and then along the way, as you're summoning for an SSR hero, like let's say you watched my previous video in which I recommended summoning for Tia, and you did get Tia, then you essentially have your 2 DPSs who you have in the 2 safe zones, quote unquote, and then you have your healer, and now you need a defender and a speed tuner. Now, defenders, there's several that are available. There's 2 relatively free-to-play friendly defenders. One is Antelope, who's probably the best one, and the other SR hero who is also a very good defender is Dion. So likely you'll get one or the other along the way, and you only need one of them. So you'll pick one of these 2 and put them in the frontmost lane to start defending the rest of your units. And then for speed tuning, every account comes with an SSR selector. Most players will recommend using the SSR selector on either Echo or Turn or Lilira. So that's Echo right there, or Turn or Lilira. Now, why these three as the top choices? Well, actually, at the time of this recording, you really only got two choices, Lilira and Turn, because Echo's rate-up banner will be in 3 days as of the time of this recording. So actually, if you were to summon for Echo, like let's say you summon for Tia, who's the current rate-up, and then you summon for Echo later on, then you essentially have your full lineup. And then to really add the cherry on top, what I probably would do is use my selector on Lilira, let's say. Or you could be patient and try to keep summoning until you get a Lilira or a Flicker and then pick the other one. Because the thing is, in a PvP setting, optimally what will happen is your speed tuner, it could be Echo or it could be Turn. Turn is arguably better from a speed tuning perspective, but Echo is better from a crowd control perspective because Echo has the ability to turn off the enemy's ult, their energy burst. And then from a PvP perspective, being able to apply shields is kind of a cheat code. So you would replace Strain with Lilira, and then you would replace Antelope with Flicker. And now what you see before you is very close to a very viable team. And obviously, if you played during the version 1.5 and summon the limited hero Abyss Alicia, then you're obviously going to choose her, and this actually increases your viable formation options as well as your viable it really opens up your freedom to optimize the offensive capabilities of your team, because Abyss Alicia can also tank. So just to do this a little bit like this is probably what I would do if I owned all these units. Essentially, you're running double tank in the front lane along with a tanky speed tuner like Turn, who will cover the back lane, and you're hiding your healer and your main DPS here. So this is an example of an endgame team, and notice how I didn't really need to change that much. You saw the evolution, right, of my team building. So this is a very effective team that I have used in the past, actually. Now, if you wanted to spice things up a little bit, like let's say you picked up an Echo from the Lightning banner, or the Echo banner, right? And now you want to have a dedicated Lightning team. Let's say you are a free-to-play plus. You spent $1 on the game and you ended up getting Lean. Then you end up with something a little bit different, and so instead of Echo, you would replace Turn with, say, like a healer, like Lilira, let's say. Actually, a lot of players are running Turn and Echo together. So, but I'm gonna do a more realistic, just a more balanced team. So, this could be a good example, or you could do something like this, where you have Karanissa, who is a great backlane DPS, who complements the archetype quite well. So you would have something like this. Probably do something like this. Yeah, so you'll hide your squishy DPSs here, and then you'll have your tanks here and here. Yes. So these two teams that I just showed you are probably the top two teams that you can create. There is a third team, like let's say you're trying to create a third advanced arena team, and let's say you picked up a Lang Jiao from the rate of banner that's currently in place for version 1.6? Well, naturally you would have an ice DPS, so it could be Ukali, or if you chose Dawn from the free-to-play selector, right, like, you know, the beginning account, so you have your ice core right here. Let's say you're completely free to play and you have your strain, right? So this is kind of rewinding back to you know, you're starting the game, you're not sure if you're going to spend on this game, or you already have committed to being a free-to-play player. Then what I probably would do is something like this. So, you know, I have my free strain, I selected for Dawn, who's going to be my ice DPS. I summon for the Langjiao banner, so now we've activated the ice homology, right? And then let's say I summoned on Echo in the second half of this month, and she will be my speed tuner. Then you can use your selector on, you know, either Turn or Lilira or Flicker. Yeah, so actually what I probably would do is something like, actually, let's say you are saving for the next banner. Like, let's say you anticipate the ice healer Jade coming out, and you're saving up your summons for that. It's possible that Jade could come out next month, and she's a limited healer. So for this reason, you really want to make sure you secure her. So you probably used your free SSR selector on either Turn or Lilira, but if you decided to skip the Echo banner, you probably selected for Turn. And then in this case, then you'll put another tank. So let's say you were summoning for Langjiao and you picked up like a, let's say you got unlucky and instead of getting Antelope, you got Dion instead, who's better than nothing. So, you know, you got Dion actually holding down the front lane, and then you have your Turn that you selected, because Turn is the best speed tuner and support in this game. Then your team would look something like this. So this is kind of like the beginning of, how should I say? This is like the foundation, right? When you start the game. And then obviously later on you're going to try to replace Dion with a Flicker. And you'll keep your Turn. You can probably optimize your PvP lineup by replacing with Lilira, who can shield and heal. And then let's say you need a more powerful DPS, so you're going to go, instead of Dawn, you're going to upgrade to, let's say, Ukali. If you want to upgrade your Ice Shell to a more heavy-hitting DPS. Then you have what looks to be a very solid Ice team. Yes, and actually when Jade comes out, you would replace Lilira with Jade. Yeah, and that would be a very solid team right there. And that's it, guys. It's that simple. So I hope this was informative. Let me know in the comment section below if there's any other teams that you're exploring that you want me to comment on. If you haven't already, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care, guys.